Good morning students, I am Shomajit sir. Today I am here to deliver my lecture on topic muscular tissue. This is from the topic animal tissue and from the chapter tissue. So watch the entire video lecture to get basics out of it. So without any delay, let's start with the topic muscular tissue. So let's start. So let's start with the topic muscular tissue. You can see different types of tissue. We'll discuss this in details. You see the different types of muscular tissue are skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. The diagrams are given very nicely. You can see animal tissue divide four parts: epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous. So epithelial I have already discussed, and connective I have discussed, and today I'll discuss the muscular tissue, and in next class I'll be discussing with the nervous tissue. So in the muscular tissue you see there are three different types. One is striated, smooth and cardiac muscle. Now muscles makes up nearly half of the mass. The most distinguishing functional characteristics of muscle is their ability to transform chemical energy ATP into directed mechanical energy. Alright, so the ATP, that is a chemical energy, will be converted into mechanical energy. You can see muscular tissue are of three types, as I have said just now. One is skeletal, one is cardiac and another is smooth. So these types differ in structure, location and function. You can see cardiac muscle present in heart, smooth muscle present in stomach and the skeletal muscle present in limbs. The figures are given very nicely. See skeletal muscle, the microscopic view of muscles is given. Cardiac muscle, the microscopic view of muscles is given, and the smooth muscles, the microscopic view of muscles is given. All the shapes of muscles are different, you can see. So cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle and smooth muscle. Example. Now moving to skeletal muscle, let's see its description. So they are long, cylindrical, multinucleated cells. Alright, and their function is they have a voluntary movement. Their voluntary muscles, locomotion, manipulation of the environment and facial expression and voluntary control. Alright, so these muscles movement is according to our will, that's why it's voluntary muscles, and location is in the skeletal muscle attached to the bones or occasionally to the skin. So you can see the parts of muscle fiber given in the diagram and the nuclei. Next, moving to cardiac muscles. So in case of cardiac muscle, you see the structure, functions and locations are given. So let's see cardiac muscle structure. Cells are striated, one nucleus per cell, and cells join end to end with intercalated discs in between. So let's see about the functions. Their involuntary heart movement. Alright, previously the skeletal muscles were voluntary muscles, but here in the cardiac muscle they are involuntary muscles. That means they are not according to our will. They continue to function day and night from birth till death, and their function is pumping of blood and location is heart muscle. Alright, so they are involuntary movement. Next is the smooth muscle. You can see the description. The spindle shaped cells with central nuclei and no striations. Cells arranged closely to form sheets. Function is it propels substances or objects, foodstuffs, urine along the internal passage. Alright, passageways, involuntary control. And location is mostly in the walls of hollow organs. They are also involuntary muscles. So you can see in the right hand side smooth muscle cells and the nuclei. The examples are given. Now the differences between striated or skeletal or voluntary muscle fiber, and unstripped, non-striated involuntary muscle fibers, and cardiac muscle fibers. The differences are given very nicely. You see here, first one, for striated muscles or skeletal muscles, cells striated or stripped, as they have light and dark band or striations. They are also called voluntary muscles as they move per our will or according to our will, and they're also called skeletal muscles as they're attached to the bones and helps in movement. And non-striated muscles, they're also called non-striated or unstripped muscle as they do not show light or dark bands, and they are called involuntary as they do not move according to their will. Let's see about the cardiac muscles. You see structures in between striations and non-striated. So the cardiac muscle function is intermediate between striated muscles and unstriated muscles, and they are involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscles are involuntary muscles, and these muscles show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout their life and pump blood. So these cardiac muscles don't rest. All right, if they rest, then the people will be dead. So once the child is born till death, this muscle continues to pump or keeps on working. Let's see about the structures of striated muscles, skeletal muscles. They are long cylindrical shaped and branched cells. They are multinucleated or many nuclei per cells. Fibers arranged in the form of bundles and have dark and light bands. And under non-striated muscles, you can see they are spindle-shaped cells, uninucleated, fibers arranged in the form of sheets, and dark and light bands absent. Dark and light bands here are absent. Alright, so dark and light band are present in striated muscles, whereas it is absent in non-striated muscles. You can see the figure on top. The cardiac muscle, the structure is they are short cylindrical shaped branch cells. They are uninucleated. They are faint light and dark bands, and the fibers arranged in a form of network. Now let's see about the location. Skeletal muscles are present in the limbs, that is arms and legs, tongue, body, face and neck, and unstriated muscles are present in the uterus, bronchi of lungs, alimentary canal, wall and blood vessels, and cardiac muscles are present in the wall of the heart. Now let's see about their functions. On the striated muscles or skeletal muscles, they contract quickly but can't remain contracted for long, so get fatigued or tired. And under non-striated muscles, the function is contract slowly but can remain contracted for long, and so don't get fatigue. And for cardiac muscle, contract quickly and rhythmically, therefore do not get fatigue or tired. So cardiac muscles don't get fatigue or tired. All right. One more comparison is given for skeletal, cardiac and smooth. You go through it. All right, the functions are given, the control are given. So skeletal muscle is a voluntary control or involuntary muscles. So skeletal muscles have a function of voluntary movement, and cardiac and smooth have involuntary movement. All right, go through it. See, one more differences I've given. Anyone you find interesting or suitable, you study. Anyone you find easy, you go through it. So you can see the figures are given: skeletal, cardiac, smooth. Function is given, control is given, automatic respiration is given, nuclei is there. Very nicely given the flow chart. One more are here. So many differences are here. You can take notes from here. Like for straight muscle, blood supply is abundant here, but in non-striated blood supply is scanty, and in cardiac blood supply is abundant. Right. The striated muscles are cylindrical, non-striated are spindle shaped, and cardiac are cylindrical. So from this chart, you can copy down the differences. Many are there. Copy down any, at least 10. You copy it down. Now let's see the functions of muscular tissue. So it helps in generation of movement, it's stabilization of the position of the body, it controls the volume of organs, Alright, smooth muscle sphincters and movement of substances in the body like blood, lymph, urine, air, food, fluids, and sperm. Then generation of body heat, like voluntary and involuntary contraction of skeletal and cardiac muscles. So student, these are your homework questions. First question is mention three differences between muscular, cardiac, and skeletal muscle. Then write the structure, location, and function of the following: cardiac muscles, sweated muscles, smooth muscles. And third question is draw the structure of the following. One is cardiac muscle, sweated muscle, and smooth muscle. Thank you student. This was all about the entire video lecture. We have discussed about the details of muscular tissue. So stay at home, stay safe. I'm Shomuji sir signing off for today, and again we'll meet in the next class. Thank you students.